Hi folks, Will Ayler Workshop, and in this video I'm going to give you 3 reasons why I think that Land Rover wiring might be unreliable. Who'd have thought it? Or maybe there might be 3 reasons why you think Land Rover wiring is reliable. Now I tend to think I've got quite a bit of experience with wiring on Land Rovers. This in front of you is just a selection of the looms that I have. Down here we've got a TD5 bulkhead loom. I'm not exactly sure of the age, but it's around about 2004 or 5 I think. Back there we've got a 300 TDI bulkhead loom, that's 2005, so that's the rest of the world spec. Over here we've got a chassis loom for a 110 300 TDI, South African spec, that's also 2005, so rest of the world. And down here we've got a bulkhead loom for a 1989 90 or 110. I'm not entirely sure of the engine, but I know it's pre-1989 because it's got the glass fuse boxes. I've also worked quite a bit on Land Rovers that I've owned. I've owned a 200 TDI that's had earth problems. I own a 300 TDI and I've converted the TD5 dash and I've put TD5 gauges in it, so I've played around a lot with 300 TDI looms as well. So why do I think the wiring on Land Rovers is unreliable? The first reason I think that Land Rover wiring is unreliable is earthing issues. Now this is the older loom, 1989. If we take a look at, this is the wiper motor connector. And the earth for the wiper motor is actually this ring terminal here. This is attached to the bulkhead. So what this means is there's actually a lot of earth points on the vehicle. Land Rover in the early days tended to earth components near to where they were on the vehicle and then use the body and the chassis to be the return earth path. But the problem being is that firstly you've got lots of earth points, so you've got to go hunting for them, and there's more chance that one of them could get a bit corroded and not be electrically as conductive as it should be. And the second thing is you've got aluminium as steel chassis and aluminium body, and there's potential for corrosion to happen, and if you're using the body and the chassis more for providing electrical contacts, then once there's corrosion there, you're not going to get as good a contact. So really, a lot of problems in older vehicles are earth problems. On the later wiring looms, they tended to use a lot more common earth points, so there's less earth points and they're more robust. This one, for example, is the TD5, 2005. This is a common earth point. Now this plug has got 9 wires going into it. It's quite beefy, and this fixes onto the bulkhead, very easily accessible. So if there's going to be an earth problem, it's right there. You just take the bolt off, clean this up, and that could be the solution to any earth problems that you're having with the vehicle. It's also positioned in a good place on the bulkhead, meaning it's quite high up and out of the way of any water or road muck. The reason why there's less earth points on these vehicles is because having an earth is a lot more important when you've got an ECU controlled vehicle. They need constant stable voltage, and an earth fault can really affect that. So you need to have a lot better earth points, a lot more robust earth points. I guess on earlier vehicles, they didn't really care. You know, a 2.5 naturally aspirated is, you know, it's going to run whether the wiper motor earth is good or bad. It's just a costing. You didn't need to run the cables all the way back to a common point. Here's another example on the later loom. This is a 2005 loom. You've got the chassis earthing. It comes all the way back here to these connectors, and these then connect onto the transfer box. On the earlier vehicles, the wiring gets terminated in the back of the vehicle, generally around the body. Now I had massive problems with the 200 TDI I had, because I was, for example, one time I was driving along the dual carriageway and I had to pull into a lay-by because my indicators wouldn't turn off. So I was in the back with a screwdriver trying to clean up the earth points, so that, because you don't want to be driving down the dual carriageway with your indicators saying you're doing something that you're not going to be doing. It was an absolute mess of that earth point, and later I had to do some serious electrical work to try and fix that up. But that's just an example of how later earths have changed to become a lot more reliable. A second reason why I think that Land Rover wiring is unreliable is the sheathing. Now this is the section that goes off to the wing loom, and you see it's just wrapped up in tape in the older looms, and this has started wearing through. And there's a few other places on the vehicle where this is happening, but essentially you've got bare wires for a lot of the run of the cable, and Land Rover's used off road. It's going to be a lot of vibration, and this stuff's going to wear through quite easily, and then you start getting shorts and corrosion in the wires and other things like that. Similarly, to do with that needing a common voltage and stable voltage, there's a lot better sheathing on the wiring. There's a lot more conduit used, so there's going to be less problems of vibration breaking through into the wiring. I mean, some of the internal wiring is uncovered, which is not such an issue, but everything that goes into the engine bay is pretty much covered in conduit, which is excellent for protecting the wire. The third reason why I think Land Rover wiring can be unreliable is the type of connectors used. In these older vehicles, there's a lot of bullet connectors and things like that. I'll take this one for example. There's a lot of potential here for corrosion or moisture to get in and then corrosion to happen inside of the connector. These connectors are quite robust fittings, but they're open to moisture and the elements potentially on some of the chassis connectors. So there's in my experience, there's a lot of corrosion can occur in these, and that is going to reduce the conductivity of the connection. The connectors on the later wiring looms tend to be sealed from the elements. They use a lot more modern connectors like amp connectors and EconoSeal. These ones, for example, they've got a, you can see there and there's a seal all the way around. So when it's mated together, typically it should be, let's say, splash proof rather than waterproof. And then on the back, where the wiring enters, there's grommets that should stop any moisture entering from that end. So these should be a lot more reliable. You can have problems with the EconoSeal connectors, but that's generally just if it's a poor seal. So these are designed a lot better and a lot more reliable. Also as well, we've got these header joints, which are better than the bullet connectors. I mean, you can join a lot more things in a smaller space, and these don't tend to go wrong. I've seen a few that can get melted through high resistance, but that might be due to other problems. But generally, these are a lot more reliable. And there's actually also a bonus reason why I think that Land Rover wiring can be unreliable, and that is modification. Now, if you own a lot older vehicle, there's a high chance that your wiring is going to have been modified by somebody, and it tends to be that the modification of wiring on Land Rovers is pretty shoddy a lot of the time. Here's a quick clip show of some of the horrors I found on this wiring loom. Luckily, I've managed to right a lot of the wrongs on this loom, but you can see here, this is a wing loom, for example, the wing section for the headlights, and something's gone on here. I have no idea what, but this is the kind of thing that you've got to deal with if you own an older Land Rover. And unfortunately, that just has an impact on the potential for wiring problems at a later date. And this is not specific to older wiring looms, it can happen on newer wiring looms as well. You never really know. This is an example on the TD5 loom of the sort of modification that can go on. This is an earth line, and someone's taken a connection here and they've just twisted the wires together. So even the later vehicles are not immune from abject bodgery. So why then, if the wiring's got better, in my opinion, do we still see lots of Land Rover electrical problems? Well, I think there's a few reasons for that. One is, we look at the size difference between the TD5 loom and the earlier loom. This one's got wing looms in it. This one doesn't even have the wing looms in it. There's a lot more wiring here. Now that in itself is not a problem, but it shows you the extra electrical complexity that's going on with the later vehicles. And I think the issues here are actually the fact that you've got a lot more electrical components, and those components that typically fail are things like sensors and that kind of stuff. Now sensors will generally fail because they are the interface between the electrical and the physical world. So they're constrained by physical events, heat and dust and water and mechanical movement. And that stuff is going to wear out over time. So a lot of electrical problems on any modern car, just on Land Rovers, will typically be sensor problems instead of the ECU, for example, or wiring. There are also other problems. We all know about the TD5 injector loom with the oil migrating on a plug that's equivalent to this one. It's not this one specifically because this is on the bulkhead, but the This is the bulkhead loom, but the one from the engine, the red one, oil will migrate into these plugs and then cause a poor contact. And that's not a problem with the wiring itself, that's a problem with the sealing of the harness from the rocker cover that allows oil to migrate down. So that's not a wiring problem in and of itself. As well, because the later vehicle's a lot more complex, you've potentially got a whole range of problems that could occur if you do indeed get earth problems. If this does in fact produce an earth problem, then there could be a whole range of things could go wrong. On the earlier vehicles, if the wiper motor earth was a bit dodgy, then you're just not going to have very fast wipers, or they're not going to work, but it's not going to stop the vehicle. This one could stop the vehicle running properly if it had conductivity issues. Wiring can be really confounding sometimes in the problems that it presents and the solutions to those problems. And I know that a lot of people find the wiring quite scary and challenging, and wiring diagram is a bit difficult to understand. So what I've done on LR Workshop is I've created a pictorial guide section where I've started with these bulkhead looms, and I'm slowly building up a library of photos of Land Rover wiring looms so that you can navigate through them and identify the connectors properly. So links on the screen and in the description, go and check it out if that's something that you want to be able to use to help you debug Land Rover wiring. So to sum up then, it's got more reliable, but potentially got more unreliable. I guess whether you agree with them or not depends on whether you own an older or a younger Land Rover. But let me know in the comments if you think Land Rover wiring or Land Rover electrical systems are unreliable. I'd be interested to know. Please subscribe if you're interested in this kind of content, like and share if you enjoyed it, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.